Wait, Apple just partnered with Google for AI? Robotaxis are matching Waymo's numbers? And there's a $600 billion war happening right now in your phone's brain? If you care about what's actually happening in tech, not just the hype, you need to watch this, because the last 5 days have been absolutely insane. First things first, OpenAI just won. Like, not technically, but listen to this. OpenAI announced they've hit over 1 million business customers on ChatGPT. But here's where it gets crazy. They're going all in on a $600 billion cloud investment, and instead of putting all their chips with Microsoft, they just announced a massive partnership with Amazon Web Services and Oracle. This is basically a nuclear option move. OpenAI is saying, we're not betting on one horse, we're building everywhere. And frankly, that's terrifying for anyone who thought they had this lockdown. But wait, there's a plot twist that nobody saw coming. Apple is working with Google. Yes, that Google. The company Apple acts like doesn't exist. They just announced they're bringing Google's Gemini AI into SIRI. Your Siri, the assistant you've been roasting for a decade, is about to get a massive upgrade powered by Google's AI. This is what happens when AI is moving so fast that even competitors have to work together just to keep up. Meanwhile, Google isn't sitting around. They just turned Google Maps into an actual AI assistant. Not just navigation, we're talking proactive suggestions, smart routing, contextual insights. Your maps are about to think for you. And get this, Google is offering free Gemini subscriptions to 500 million Geo users in India. That's not just expansion, that's conquest. They're playing the long game and they're playing it hard.
Okay, so we always talk about the future of autonomous vehicles, but plot twist, it's already here. Baidu's Apollo Go just hit a massive milestone. They're running 250,000 rides per week. That's not beta testing. That's not experimental. That's actually operating at scale. For context, that's matching Waymo's numbers from earlier this year. So while everyone in the West is still debating whether robotaxis are safe, China's already running them like regular taxis. But here's the really wild part. Xpeng, a Chinese EV company, just announced they're not just making robotaxis, they're launching humanoid robots. And not some Boston Dynamics demo thing that costs millions. They're talking mass production in 2026. They've built their own AI chip called Turing with 3,000 TOPS of computing power. That's industry leading. They're putting 3 of these chips in their new Iron 2 humanoid robot, and they're testing them on the streets of Guangzhou next year. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is what's actually being built right now. While the AI wars rage on, the smartphone game is also getting spicy. OnePlus just dropped the OnePlus 15 with the newest Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chipset. Fine, that's expected, but check this out. It has a 7,300 mAh battery. That's literally one of the largest batteries ever put in a flagship phone. We're talking 2-day battery life on a flagship. That's not a compromise phone. That's a flagship that actually listens to what people want. Realme is bringing the GT8 Pro to the global market starting November 20, and it's got something wild, a removable lens cover design. You can literally swap it out for different looks. That's not just a feature, that's personalization. And if you're into cameras, Canon just dropped the EOS R6 Mark III with a 32-megapixel sensor and 7K video. But the crazy part is, it has AI autofocus that can track over 1,000 subject points simultaneously. Your DSLR is now smarter than most people. But not everything in tech right now is exciting innovation. There's a real power struggle happening. Amazon just banned Perplexity AI from accessing its marketplace. Why? Amazon says Perplexity was scraping product data without permission. Perplexity fired back, calling Amazon a bully. This is basically a tech war over who owns your shopping data. On one side, you've got the massive incumbents like Amazon protecting their moat. On the other side, you've got AI companies trying to disrupt them. And the battleground? Your data. Here's the thing. This is going to matter to you, because whoever wins these fights controls what AI can and can't do. It controls your prices. It controls what you see. It controls everything. And speaking of control, Google Project Zero just did research on AI-generated malware. Here's the good news. AI-made malware is actually pretty bad. It's got logical flaws, uses outdated exploits, and can't evade modern defenses. So maybe the robots won't hack us. At least, not yet. Now, here's what nobody's talking about, but everyone should be. The infrastructure race. Samsung just announced they're building a facility with 50,000 NVIDIA GPUs. That's 50,000! That's not a small investment. That's declaring war on AI compute scarcity. Why? Because AI demands are going nuclear, and if you don't have the infrastructure, you're out of the game. This is like the oil rush, but instead of drilling wells, you're building data centers. Blue Origin is preparing for the second flight of New Glenn on November 9th, testing their new heavy-lift rocket. Why does this matter? Because SpaceX has been dominating space launches for years. Blue Origin is basically saying, we're coming for your market share. This isn't just space nerd stuff. This is about who controls the future of satellite internet, space tourism, and everything beyond our atmosphere. Here's what scares me about all of this. Every single piece of infrastructure we just talked about, the GPUs, the data centers, the robotaxis, the AI chips, they all require massive amounts of electricity, and they all cost billions to build. There's a legit debate on Wall Street about whether we're in an AI bubble, whether all this infrastructure investment will actually pay off. Some analysts think we're about to see a correction that makes the dot-com crash look small. But you know what? That's actually bullish. Because if it's a bubble, that means the winners are going to be absolutely dominant. The companies that survive this, they're going to control the next decade. This is what's actually happening in tech right now. If you want to actually understand where tech is going, not just use it, but understand it, you need to keep up with this stuff. So here's what I'm asking. If this video helped you make sense of the tech chaos, hit that subscribe button. We're breaking down the stories that actually matter every single week. And I'll see you in the next one.